From declaring Davis to be the new face of boxing to sympathizing with some brutal body shots, pros have a lot to say about Ryan Garcia losing to Gervonta Davis. So let's hear from them, starting with Tony Bellew. The former title holder had a lot to say about the fight between Garcia and Davis. After the fight was over, Bellew said that he knows that body shots, which gave Davis the win, can hurt a lot. There's no denying that. But as fighters, you always have to rise up and keep fighting. But he doesn't think the pain was for nothing. According to the analyst, once a fighter has faced such a thing in a fight and fought against it, he learns to be a better fighter and does it again and again. Bellew then said that Garcia is one of the best fighters in the division right now. He's fast and he's got mad skills, but there are still issues that he needs to overcome. According to Bellew, if Garcia uses his skills properly and fights to his full potential, he could be the next big thing in boxing. Comparing Garcia to an icon like Amir Khan, Bellew said that the two have the same kind of skills. The only difference, though, is that Amir knew how to use them to his benefit. But those were only his thoughts on Garcia. Here's what Bellew said about Davis. He had a lot of advice for Garcia, but he also had a lot of praise. In his Twitter thread about the fight, the analyst called Davis one of the best punchers in his division. And honestly, that's hard to argue with, right?
Well, now we will know what happens when Davis hits him well. Barrios here in the eighth, but Barrios...
He even said that Davis might be the best since Naseem Hamed in the lighter weight divisions. According to Bellew, the biggest thing that made Davis win the fight was the advice he got from his corner. But he obviously admitted that Davis is an incredible fighter and performed really well. He also added that he loves every fight in which Davis is involved, and that he was eagerly looking forward to many more of his fights in the future, especially now that he's beaten someone like Ryan Garcia. But Tony wasn't the only one who had great things to say about Tank Davis. Sergio Mora also had a lot to add. The DAZN analyst and former title holder also headed over to Twitter after the fight's results were announced to share how he felt about the whole thing. Tank didn't run over Garcia, he said. The analyst added that the reason Davis won the fight was that he was smart with his strategy. He picked his moments, and in those moments, he acted just how he should have. And only those few moments in the fight were enough to make him the winner. And it was because of Davis's patient and smart strategy that Garcia had no idea how to deal with Davis in the ring. But that's not all. The former title holder also said that another thing that was pretty obvious to him watching the fight was that Garcia stepped into the ring without any real strategy to give him the win. He added, saying that the only game plan that Ryan had was to use his signature check hook. And once that didn't work, he didn't know how else to take the fight. According to Mora, it could have been better if Garcia used a different variety of jabs on his opponent. That could have secured him the win. Mora thinks that relying on one technique and one jab at a time is a recipe for disaster against a fighter like Davis, who stayed patient until he could take over the fight. But not everyone reacted to Garcia losing as well as Mora. Ishe Smith wasn't so kind. The former title holder had a lot to say about how Garcia lost the fight. Now, we all know that Ishe Smith is one of the fiercest fighters out there. So when he says something, we should all take it with a whole shaker full of salt. The fighter tweeted about the fight and expressed his frustration with the way Garcia handled things. According to Smith, Garcia quit, and he kept saying that over and over again in his tweets. And honestly, we all get it. Fans are just as disappointed in Garcia as Smith is. He also said that Garcia's game didn't even look that good, adding that the body shot that he gave into didn't even look that bad. Well, now, that is debatable, but the frustration is understandable. Ishe also talked about a lot of other fighters, saying how they never gave up in fights and kept pushing through, and how Garcia failed to do that. He ended his thread by saying, "Man, this man quit." But hey, not everyone agrees with what Smith said about the body shot. Here's how Mike Alvarado and Shakur Stevenson reacted. Alvarado, for one, sided with Garcia and let his followers and the MMA community know that maybe Ryan wasn't as weak as so many people are making him out to be.
See, if you're just following your opponent around and throwing twos and fews.
There you go, Garcia.
I mean, we all know that Garcia is one of the best fighters in the game, but this fight made a lot of fans question everything. Alvarado said that he knows just how bad body shots can hurt during a fight. He said that out of all his 45 career fights, he has never experienced anything as painful as when he received a liver shot. Now, it kind of makes sense why a fighter like Garcia had to give up after that body shot, but a lot of fans still stand their ground and say that he shouldn't have just given up the way he did. Which side are you on? Let me know in the comments section. Shakur Stevenson also expressed his feelings about the fight, but unlike a lot of other commentators in today's video, he didn't take any sides or analyze the fight. He only commented on how good the fight was and said that Davis's performance in the ring was incredible. But there are a ton of other pros who weren't so chill, like Dave Caldwell and Chris Cyborg. Caldwell decided to jump right into the conversation about the fight as soon as it was over. He expressed that he was really impressed with how Davis fought in the ring. Caldwell said that he had been watching in slow motion for the exact moment when Davis lands the fight-ending body shot, and he has no doubts that it was just so perfect. He also added that the shot was brutal for the fighter on the receiving end. Poor Garcia. Seems like many pros agree he was in a lot of pain. Overall, Caldwell was really impressed with Davis. He said that Tank had a quality fight and made special mention of his strategy and, of course, his skills in the ring.
Gervonta Tank Davis said he would stop Mario. Right, but oh my!
Chris Cyborg also seemed to be really impressed with how well Davis fought. She said that she noticed how Tank was always one step ahead of his opponent throughout the fight, but she also said something so major. According to Cyborg, Gervonta could very well become the new face of the sport.
And the crowd anticipates Gervonta. Davis has.
But even that's not so big compared to what another pro thought about the fight. Juan Archuleta pointed out something no one else did. While most fighters on this list either thought Garcia sucked or sympathized with him, Archuleta had a very different way to look at the fight. According to him, it wasn't the fighters that decided the result of this face-off. It was the referee. Archuleta seemed pretty convinced that the referee got involved way too soon. Juan thinks the fight had more potential, and it could have gone on for longer, and we might have even had different results if the referee hadn't stepped in so soon. I mean, based on all we've heard about those body shots, I don't know if Garcia was able to keep going. Who knows? Maybe he did have it in him to take the win. Archuleta reckons the referee should have let the two fight without interrupting them. But even then, Juan said that it was a good match and that he enjoyed it. And I guess that's a good sign, right? He must have enjoyed the fight to want it to keep going. Considering that neither Davis nor Garcia had lost a professional fight before facing off in the ring, it makes sense why everyone wasn't ready to hear the bell. Maybe that's why expectations were so high, and why a lot of fans and fellow fighters have come down so hard on Garcia. So that's it. There definitely were a lot of different opinions on this fight, but that is how pro fighters reacted to Ryan Garcia losing to Gervonta Davis. Whose corner are you in? Let me know. Until next time.